Hey, you guys. So, for my theory of change, I focused on the Rivera family from the movie Coco. And so, this is a family that spans 5 generations. It includes 20 family members, some alive and some deceased. And so, because I can't focus on all of them, I'd really want to focus in therapy on the family members that have the largest impacts on the functioning within the family and contribute the most to the dysfunction within the family. So, Miguel would probably be considered the symptom bearer of the family. He is 12 years old and is a member of the youngest generation within this family. And he is violating a rigid rule within the family, which bans music. He has a strong affinity to music, and he wants to actually become a musician. And when he opens up to his family about this, it is met with considerable backlash due to this rigid boundary. Now, his grandmother Elena is the matriarch of the family, and she is the one that's mostly enforcing this boundary. All the other family members should sort of support her in enforcing it, but she is the biggest figure that enforces this rule within the family. And so Miguel wanting to become a musician causes a lot of strife between him and Elena. Now, this rule stems back to Elena's grandparents, Hector and Imelda, who both had actually really enjoyed music and used it as a way to bond with each other. However, Hector had actually left the family to go and perform music with his best friend and had never returned. And this was a level of betrayal that Imelda never recovered from. And so she viewed music as sort of being what led to the degradation of their relationship and banned it from the family dynamic as a way to protect her family in the future. And so this trauma has been carried on throughout the generations of the family to the present day, which is why this rule still exists. Now, barriers to therapy are that Coco, who are actually Imelda's and Hector's child, and was alive when Hector had left the family and this rule had been established. Coco is the oldest surviving member of the family and has a direct connection to this trauma. However, she has a level of cognitive decline and memory loss that is similar to what we may see with a neurocognitive disorder. And so ethically, she could not be included within the therapy session because she would not be able to consent to therapy. Another barrier would be that the family does speak Spanish, and so this family, there might be a language barrier between me and that family because I do not speak Spanish, which could hinder the therapy process. Now, cultural things to take into consideration is this family lives in Santa Cecilia, Mexico, and music is a big part of their culture. So this family has essentially not only cut themselves off from a big part of their family heritage, but also their cultural heritage. And so Miguel is likely feeling a level of disconnection from his family heritage and cultural heritage and is trying to reconnect with it. However, this family also has a value of really respecting the elders within their family and also has spiritual beliefs that regards respecting and venerating the ancestors. And so because this rule banning music came from their ancestor and is being upheld by the family elder, he is viewed as betraying and violating these family values. Now, in the process of joining therapy, I really want to make sure every individual feels supportive, safe, and empathized with throughout the therapy process. And I would do this through effective listening skills and effective questioning skills to help me better understand the individuals within the family. But I'm hoping through my questioning, they begin to open their mind and see the interactions within their family from a new perspective or better understand their family perspectives in a way they maybe had not thought about before. Now, my goals of therapy, my first goal would be to increase the Rivera's ability to empathize and understand each other's point of view. And my objectives to let me know that this goal is being met is that the Riveras will be able to differentiate their own thoughts and emotions from that of their family, and they'll be able to validate each other's emotions in times of conflict. My second goal of therapy is that the Riveras would be able to increase feelings of security and confidence within each other. And the objectives I have to let me know that this is being met is that they are able to support each other, ensuring these 8 aspects of the self that Satir has sort of put forth are being nurtured each day, and that they will be able to remain loyal to each other regardless of interest and desired life paths. My last goal would be to increase the Rivera's ability to cooperate with one another. My objectives for this would be that they are able to use I statements to congruently communicate with one another, and it will be able to detriangulate this band of music from the family dynamic. So I'm sure to nobody's surprise, I did use Satir to help me conceptualize this case, but I also used Bowen to help me conceptualize this case because I believe that both of them kind of work well together, but also help create a more complete picture about why things occur. Now, both of them believe that an inability to effectively cope with negative emotions leads to the dysfunction. This coping to Satir takes the place of the communication stances, and this coping to Bowen takes the place of either conflict, triangulation, symptoms, or distancing. So this kind of gives nuances to how coping with negative emotions can appear. These negative emotions to Satir come in the form of self-confidence or self-esteem issues, and to Bowen this comes in the form of anxiety. Now, to me, I believe that these two negative emotions are sort of inherently connected and occurring in all sort of under the surface of all sort of dysfunction that is occurring. And in addition to that, I believe that both of them sort of focus on different areas. While Satir focuses more on emotions, I believe that Bowen focuses a little more on behaviors, and I believe that both of them are kind of important to address when it comes to helping to solve the dysfunction. Also, both of these theories place a good deal of importance on the individual's functioning as well as the symptoms functioning, and believe that addressing both of them is important when helping to solve this dysfunction. Satir, I believe, leans more into focusing on the individual because of her influence from psychodynamic ways of thinking, and focuses on the individual and their internal systems, while Bowen focuses on the individual and differentiating that individual within the system. And I believe that both of them understand the importance of differentiating thoughts and emotions to be able to better communicate. Now, the interventions I would use, one of the first interventions I would use is a genogram, and I do this pretty early on, more as a part of the assessment stage, to help me get a clear picture of the entire family, the multi-generational transmission process that is occurring, the existence of triangles, how anxiety and low self-esteem appear within the family, amongst other dynamics within the family. And also, I believe this will be a beneficial intervention because I believe that through telling the story of each individual family member, their personalities, their personal talents, and achievements, that we can begin the process of differentiating the different individuals within the family. Another intervention I would like to use is Satir's parts party. And so this exercise is kind of similar to what we learned about in IFS, but basically involves looking at the different parts within an individual, things that they like and don't like, and seeing what all of them bring forward and how each part, whether you like it or don't, how it benefits the individual and how they all work together within you. And so I believe this will help on an individual level to help increase self-esteem, but I also believe that it will help the family be able to better empathize with each other and see these different parts within each individual that are coming up. Now, the third intervention I want to utilize is using Satir's 8 aspects of the self. Teach all of the members of the family sort of how these appear in your life, get them to think about how they know when each of these 8 aspects are being fulfilled and nurtured, and also being able to recognize barriers to fulfilling these 8 aspects of the self. And I also believe in doing this, the family members can become aware of how they can help each other raise each other's happiness and self-confidence, and how they can help in contributing to nurturing these 8 aspects of the self within each other. So I would also want to help them identify the communication stances, to sort of help them identify negative communication or ineffective communication within the system. Teach them about I statements, and if they're having difficulty with the I statements, sort of doing an activity to help them be able to differentiate thoughts and emotions, and also introducing Satir's iceberg of human experience, to further help them differentiate emotions and thoughts, but also go further into helping them to see what communication stances come up during certain behaviors or moments of conflict, and sort of motivations and reasonings behind these behaviors as well. And after I've introduced these, I'd want to go through a conflict interaction, which I actually borrowed from Gottman. And although Gottman does this as an intervention, I mean, as an assessment, I would want to do it as an intervention. And I want the family to sign it, go through a conflict interaction, afterwards reflecting on it using Satir's iceberg of human experience to see negative the communication stances that they entered, and also then after we go through that and see sort of ineffective communication that occurred, I want them to go through it again, this time remembering their I statements and then reflecting on that and how their communication improved. And hopefully this will lead to a final intervention of brainstorming ways to get rid of this rigid triangle, as I hope that through all these other interventions, I will have helped to increase trust within the family, that they can remain loyal and connected, even if someone in the family were to want to pursue a life path of performing music, like Miguel wants to. And yes, that is all I have. Thank you guys.